back to She Speaks Live. And when I told y'all we were creating a show for women of color to be able to say whatever they want to say, these next two sisters are truly, y'all think that Hot Topics table kept it real and said whatever the heck they want to say? These next two women keep it as real as any I have ever met in my life, and I am so honored to have them here with us tonight to kick it all the way real. Best-selling author of Life of a Real Housewife, she is an activist for criminal justice reform, and she was very instrumental in passing the First Act and Second Step Act. We're going to talk about what that means. She is a pro-life wife, a mother, and founder of the King Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Angela Stanton King. Next up, baby. If you want it the way she gonna give it to you, listen now. Everybody knows this woman from loving hip hop, growing up hip hop, Waka Flocka's mama. Listen, this lady does a little bit of everything. When I asked her about her introduction, she basically said no introduction needed because I do it all. Right. She has a book coming out. She is a beautiful spirit, a wonderful energy. She is always looking out for the people. This dynamic diva didn't want anything fancy because she is simply herself in any setting. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my sister Deb Adney. Anthony, if you're nasty.
Sounds good.
Deb and Angela.
Yes.
Now come on with the come on.
Yes.
First of all, thank you ladies both for being here.
Absolutely.
And something that I did not know until very recently is that y'all are sister friends in real life, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So can you tell us how y'all met? What's the relationship here?
We had a mutual friend that we both knew, and he said, you know what, you two ladies remind me so much of each other. You got so much in common. He was like, if you ask me, I know you got to be Deb's long-lost sister.
Yeah.
And he connected us together, our spirits connected, and we have the same passion. We want to help Black women. We want to help the community. We want to help them grow. We want to help them do better. So why not align together and make it happen?
I know that's right. Give it up for Black women coming together.
Yeah. These flowers are so beautiful, though, Nikki.
Oh, well, aren't they beautiful? Thank you. These came from my group member, Erin, you know, and I recently, not to be a Debbie Downer, but a lot of people know I recently lost both my mom and my dad 3 months apart in June and September. So the butterflies represent their love and flying and being present. They here
now. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Erin. And Brownstone will be giving y'all a little vocal moment after the show. Well, not after the show, but later on in the show. So, Angela.
Yes, let's jump into it.
I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Right? So,
I'm always in the hot seat.
But you know what? You're not afraid of it.
No.
And that's something that I have to applaud you about. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot going on in the world.
Yes, it is.
And a lot going on your Instagram feed.
Oh, God.
Yes, God, it is.
Yes.
Angela, when I look up the word fearless in the dictionary, your face pops up. What I respect most about you, and I don't agree with everything you post, and I don't agree with everything that you say, but I respect everything because it is coming from a place of honesty and truth.
Yes.
But you've got a real position on politics. You've got a real position on abortion. Before we get into that, the First Step Act, can you give the people a little bit of information on why you were so actively involved in the First Step Act?
I was actively involved in the First Step Act because I've been to prison. And of course, we watched that on the docuseries From the Bottom Up. I know what it feels like to be in the cage. So when I saw how hard Americans were fighting to reunite families at the border, I couldn't forget about the American families that have been separated by mass incarceration. All of our children that have had to grow up fatherless because of 3 Strikes You Out, which was passed by Joe Biden. So I had an opportunity, I had access to this current administration, and I said, why not operate in my favor? You know, if I listened to my haters, we wouldn't have nearly 7,000 people home free as of today.
All right.
So,
all right.
You got to be bigger than the talk. You got to be bigger than the hate, and you got to do the work. It's just like Harriet Tubman. She couldn't free the slaves being scared of the white man or being scared of racism. Operate in your favor, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
So while operating in your favor, you're one of the few African-American women who supports Donald Trump.
Yep.
Why?
I've had a chance to work with them. I've had a chance to work with his administration. I've had a chance to see exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what's going on behind all of the talks that's on the news. And I'm very proud of what Donald Trump has done, not for America, but for the black community. Let's talk about it. $25 billion to HBCUs. He even lifted the federal ban. They were banned federally. This happened under Obama, where they couldn't get access to federal funding. He lifted that, creating opportunity zones in all 50 states across America, which are in our communities. Unemployment, black employment is up, the highest it's ever been.
Is that because of Donald Trump or because
well, here's the thing. We can go back and forth all day about who did this, how long it took before it started taking into play, because we could just blame each other all day. Because if that's the case, we could say that mass shootings are a result of Obama. It trickled over into this administration. We can go back and forth all day. We're just gonna talk about what it is. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Why are we focused on reuniting illegal immigrants at the border when we need to be focused on reuniting our own families? I think black people are on the wrong side of the fight.
Okay, this hot topics table is gonna lose it if I don't give him a chance. Okay.
We have just entered the church of She Speaks Live.
Okay,
Go ahead,
you have
Christine.
something to say about that, Christine Beatty. Here we go.
No, Christine Beatty.
no.
Christine has said she's
No,
wrong.
no,
It's not,
wait a minute.
The first wrong was the
speak.
past thing.
No, let me speak.
let us
Let me
go
speak
ahead.
for me.
Okay.
Right. Now, because I didn't raise my hand. I wanted to let Angela finish. Angela, I want you to finish your stuff.
Go ahead, Miss Christine.
Because Angela and I debate on a lot, right? Angela supports Trump. I'm a Democrat. So that's a given. And we've had those spats. For me, this is not about that. And Angela and I have talked about that because I absolutely support prison reform, 1,000%, and love the fact that Jared Kushner stepped into the administration, said this should be a center issue for the administration, and pushed it. But here's the thing where I always differ with Angela. Trump didn't start that. So the Prison Reform Act of 2015, which started that, which put all that out the gate, didn't go far enough when it came to like crack laws, where you're in prison for 25 years for a gram, but you got a key and you get 6 months.
Yep.
So those types of laws didn't get fixed all the way under the first portion in 2015 under Obama. Said that, right?
So it's a shared.
Yeah, so and let's be clear. No
Obama
one
didn't pass criminal justice
no one
reform.
administration can take care of it.
But let me finish. What did she say?
She said, tell what you said.
Obama didn't pass criminal justice reform. He had 8 years in office.
He did
Trump
pass.
did it within the first
2015
two.
was the act that was passed.
So, but Obama didn't do it.
He did. He
Obama
signed the
hand
legislation.
selected.
Now listen, we ain't gonna say
Obama
nothing
went
bad
in
about
and
Barack
hand
Obama in this show.
No, it's not about. Let's be factual. This is not about bad or good.
In December 2018, what I know is, and what I witnessed because I was there, was President Donald J. Trump signing the First Step Act,
Yeah,
which
but
is
you know that there
responsible
was
for
a Prison
helping free.
Reform Act in 2015.
It may have been, but Obama didn't pass
Let's be real on that.
So let's
You
just
can go
say
on Google and find it out
the
for
fact is
yourself.
that
Obama
Donald
didn't
Trump
pass.
signed it, but he didn't necessarily. He wasn't solely responsible for the effort.
But wait, let me
Well,
just
he didn't have to do it. I mean, he's a racist and a white supremacist. Let them tell it. Why would he sign
Allegedly.
a law? Let them tell it. Why would he sign a law that affects 91% of the people that have been released from the First Step Act are black? And if people follow my page, they will see that. I share their stories all of the time. That's not something racists do. They don't let black men out of prison. They don't put an end to abortion to stop killing black babies. They want us to kill our babies if we're going to talk about racism.
I told y'all this conversation was gonna get real.
Let's be honest.
Go ahead, real quick. We got two
again,
chances.
and me and Angela, like I said, I'm always about facts. No one person passes legislation.
Okay.
Joe
I
Biden
agree
did
with
not
that.
pass the
Absolutely. He signed it.
legislation.
Absolutely.
Joe Biden
Okay.
was one of the people that introduced it.
Trump
Congress
signed
So it was a
black
group effort, and
congressional
the
black
fact is
members
did not
that
have
the
to
bill
sign.
passed. Yeah, let's be clear.
All right, what up? I was letting the ladies go at it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nights with Nicci, beautiful people. Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Please, as you come in on YouTube and as you come in on all of the apps, actually, please hit the like button for me. How are you guys tonight? I hope y'all are well. We got Insta right here in front of me. We got Instagram. Hey, Instagram. How y'all feeling tonight? We got YouTube, WIRF.TV YouTube. And to my right, we've got my TikTok family. We got LinkedIn. And of course, we got our family over on X. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. Happy Sunday. And I actually wasn't even I was going to take a break today and get some things done. Y'all, thank you for last night. Last night was a really warm and exciting and informative, and we was chilling, and I feel like we got a lot of good information on last night's show. So thank you guys for tuning in and joining me last night. Before we get started, let me get some things out of the way. Tonight I am rocking the lip bar again. She is a incredible entrepreneur, forgive me, from my hometown of Detroit, Michigan. And you guys please support the lip bar. I see you guys on Instagram. Who is this? I see you, BK Mona Lisa. I see you, Cordell. I see you, the girl KT. I see you, Vince. I see you guys up in there. Let's see, my YouTube family. I see you guys as well. Listen, it's a lot going on. Hey, what's up, J Rock? I see you, J Rock, and I see you, C Breeze. Blessings and light. Thank you guys for coming in. And please, as you come in, please do not forget to like, to share, and of course, to subscribe to our WIRF.TV YouTube channel. Y'all, I wanted to get in here and talk a little bit about what's going on in these social media streets. There's a lot going on, not just the social media streets. Shit, it's a lot going on in the world, and politics in particular. I am blown away, just like many of you are probably blown away by what we've seen. In fact, you guys, I'm so blown away by what I saw. Y'all know what this is. I got my handy dandy notepad. I'm so blown away by what I saw, honey. I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm writing you a 9-page letter, and I enclosed it with a kiss. And when I write you, you better get it on time. Baby, listen, where's Aaliyah when you need her? Where is Aaliyah when you need her? Ooh, we got some super chat action. Thank you, Southpaw. I appreciate that. Come on with the super chat for $4.99. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. What is going on? What is going on in America? These are my thoughts. I actually started writing them on a shorter piece of paper. My husband is the greatest. This is a love language. She just brought a pad in, a fresh pad for me to get some fresh ideas. What up, Firebomb TV? I see you. Please, guys, remember as you come into this chat, please do me a favor. Hey, Cordell, I see you on IG. I see all of my beautiful people. Tonight is not going to be a show where we pick sides, right? We're just not. She just ain't finna do it. Get somebody else to do it. Hey, what? Oh, TikTok. I see y'all. Hi. Thank you for the hearts. By the way, guys, I'm up to 3. I don't know if y'all recall, but a couple nights ago I said I'm gonna try to do. I'm up to 4. I'm sorry. I'm up to 4. I do 3, but I'm now up to 4 because we want to stay hydrated. Drink water and mind my business. That's what I'm trying to do. So, hey, I see you, Insta. I see y'all. I see it. Instagram be struggling. I be having my little struggle people over there. No, I mean, I didn't mean that. That was offensive. I take it back. I'm just saying. Y'all know how I feel about them 200,000 people over there. But I'm honored, even if it's just an audience of 1, right? Or if I was just talking to myself during the live. The beautiful thing is it's there for you guys to enjoy in the replay. So tonight is not about picking sides, y'all. It's not about name calling. Tonight is about progress and having a real conversation, right? We've spent so much time reacting and arguing and tearing each other down that we have forgotten the most important question that we should all be asking ourselves. And that is, we're doing a lot of tearing down and burning shit down, but what are we actually building? If anybody could tell me, I am so here for it. What are we building? What are we building? We can call names in politics, but if we really gonna talk about it, right? And it's interesting because, my eyelash stuck. Okay, she's back. Oh, geez. Hold on, y'all. That girl is stuck. Okay. If we're really gonna be honest about it, right? I watched the clip, which let me get it ready to pull it up. I watched the clip of the Nicki Minaj conversation with Turning Point, which is an organization that puts on this America Fest or AmFest, whatever you want to call it, right? And the reason I wanted to play the clip of the conversation with Angela Stanton King and Christine Beatty on the conversation we had on She Speaks Live is because, hi, I see you guys, is because one of the things that I really appreciate about having platforms where you can have healthy debates is that if you're open and if you're willing and if you're not just assuming some shit, right? That you don't know because you haven't heard the other side of it fully and completely because you're just waiting to respond, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you're listening while the whole while you're listening. I think Christine even said this in a conversation with Angela Stanton once, which I totally respect. She was like, the whole time, sometimes, you're preparing your response, right? You're taking in key points and key bits of information, but not to really absorb what is happening in the conversation and take it in, but just to kind of like identify those points where you're going to come in and have a rebuttal. And I get it because a lot of smart people, who like to hear themselves talk, present company excluded. A lot of people just think, my way or no way. You know what I mean? And we've just really turned into a place, a country, a world where if you have a difference of beliefs, then you are considered the enemy, which is really crazy. And part of the reason why I like to be able to have these conversations. Oh, wow. Hold on. I really wanted to give you guys better quality audio on TikTok. I'm sorry. I should have plugged the mic in. Y'all just getting like the regular phone audio. It'll be okay. I just literally just looked at it and realized it. But we live in a world where people just aren't hearing each other. People are just getting ready for their rebuttal and getting ready to prove their point. And tonight I want to talk about the conditioning that so many of us are experiencing, the programming and the conditioning that we're experiencing in the media, right? The power of the media, the power of ownership of media, and why focusing on building rather than burning some shit down might be the most radical move that we as humanity, as human beings, regardless of our color, regardless of our religion, it might be the most radical thing that we can all do, right? So you're, of course, watching Nights with Nicci, and I am your host, Nikki Gilbert Daniels. J-Rock says, laugh out loud, not 9-page letter. Did you enclose it with a kiss? I sure did. Yeah, I did. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, y'all might just came in here. I literally this is 9 pages of just, my thoughts about this thing because, what's really interesting. Oh, snap. Hold on. I'm supposed to have a guest tonight. I'm supposed to have a guest tonight. Hold on one second. Let me see if my guest is still available because we got started a little late, but I want to double check. You still good. If not, tomorrow works. I wanted to bring in a guest tonight, you guys, because I want to get perspective on this conversation. I watched it. I listened to it. And what comes. Okay. Well, first of all, hold on. Let me not get into any of this stuff before we do a little bit of, hold on, what did I do with it? Oh, I didn't even plug it in there. Y'all better be glad. Y'all might just be getting away without having to hear my Divine Nine TV commercial, because I was really about to plug in my Divine Nine TV commercial, but I don't think I loaded it up. So y'all are lucky y'all don't have to hear, hit subscribe and you see the power of divine9tv.com. Y'all better be glad I ain't playing that 1.5 minute commercial. But if I find it before the show is over tonight, be clear, you will be getting the Divine 9 TV commercial. And for those of you who don't know, because maybe this is the first time you have joined us for a Night with Nicci, Divine Nine TV is a platform that was created by members of Divine Nine fraternities and sororities who are in the industry and creatives and people who believe that our community deserves an opportunity to share authentic news and information and stories. We got scripted coming, y'all. We got new season of R&B Divas coming, y'all. We got a new season of Front and Bottom Up coming, y'all. We got a new series called Divine Nine TV News. We've got Boulé Central. We've got my HBCU, and I've got a new scripted project coming called It Girls. It has finally been cast. We were supposed to start production on this side of the year, but we pushed it back to February. So that's my Divine Nine TV. And you're also going to finally, after all these years, you will finally have an opportunity to experience our incredible documentary. It is such a riveting documentary film project, and it is called Broken Things. So show some love to Divine Nine TV. I don't want y'all to do it right now. I'm not going to ask you guys to step away from the chat to go and join. But after tonight's show, if you would please go to at Divine Nine TV on YouTube, and divine9tv.com is our streaming platform. And we actually pushed the official launch back. Initially, the goal was to have it done in a limited release of the platform in January. But number one, we had to push back because there was some talent that I really, really wanted attached to this project. And we got everybody we wanted. Everybody we wanted. I can't wait to announce the cast of this project. But we had to push it back. So with that being said, we have changed our start date. So our start date is now going to be March 23rd. And March 23rd is the anniversary of my sister's passing, which she passed away, many of you know, March 23rd of this year, of glioblastoma. In addition to that, I've been working on something in honor of my sister. It's been hard for me to get through it because it's really hard for me to go through the footage and, look back on those memories. And, I get a lot emotional because that was my baby sister and she's gone way too soon. But her life was full. She loved to travel. She traveled more than I did. Like, I travel for work a lot of times and then I'll just get in some sun. Like, I'll go to a conference and then I'll just sneak a day at the beach. But when I really have an opportunity to just go and not be working and not be, networking and all that stuff, it's pretty rare. But my sister, bless her heart, Debbie, she went so many places and she did so many things. And traveling was one of her favorite things to do. So a part of my, this new space I'm going in is to just see more of the world when I'm not working. Like I said, I've seen a lot of the world. I've seen Europe, I've seen Australia, I've seen Japan, I've seen all these amazing places, but it's always when I'm working, right? And I have some opportunities. Opportunity came up for me to go to Africa this year, which is crazy, and amazing because, I found out that we have, I got one side of my ancestry, and I did discover tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow's gonna be better. I totally understand. I got one side of my ancestry, and I did learn that we have some quite a bit of African up in there. So I'm really proud of that. I'm sitting here looking at my Instagram. You guys, make sure y'all share this video. If you're coming in and watching me on WIRF.TV, YouTube, make sure you hit like on this video. And yes, Phoenix Rising, thank you for that reminder. Angie died in March as well. March of 2025 was a very hard year. I literally, I could not make Angie Stone's funeral because my sister went into hospice right before Angie died, and I needed to be, there with my sister. And I was there with her until the very end. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to Angie at her funeral, but I definitely don't have any regrets about um, our sisterhood and our friendship. We said what we had to say to each other. We gave each other our flowers while we could both smell them. And yeah, so March will be our launch, our official launch of divine9tv.com. And I am so grateful that I have people who are excited and willing to come on board and make really great stories and content and share great news and information, because after tonight and the Nicki Minaj of it all, we need platforms and outlets and opportunities to communicate with one another now more than ever. Man, 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 man. It's getting serious out here, everybody. It is getting serious, and it's really creating a question about artists and the platforms and the influence and the danger of artists and people with hundreds and millions of followers without artist development, and not just artist development, but I just think, and I say this a lot, and this is what my conversation tonight is really going to be centered around. You know what? Before I get into that, I'm sorry. Haha. Before I get into that, I guess what I should do is I should play you a clip, and I'm gonna play the audio because I don't know what I can actually show. And I know I can do the whole, like, I've done the whole copyright disclaimer, but sometimes that shit doesn't work. So I just think that the simplest and easiest thing for me to do is just play it. Okay. Oh, I'm getting commercials because I'm playing it on YouTube. Hold on, guys. Okay, here we go. They haven't lost touch of the. Uh-oh. Here we go. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get this thing together. I should have had it loaded. Please forgive me. Of the world. They're still connected to the world and what's happening. Okay. Until you are in that person's shoes that's being lied on. Okay, yeah. Hold on. This is exactly where I wanted to be. Hold on. This is where I wanted to be. This is where I wanted to be. Me proud of them. Our vice president. You'll never understand what it feels. You'll never understand what it. Okay. You'll never understand what it feels like. That person is a human being. They have a family who has to read those lies. And that's not, and it's just not fair. But this administration is full of. Somebody, you'll never understand until you've been lied on. Remember that. And they make me proud of them. Our vice president, he makes me. Well, I love both of them, but they're both powerful men, smart, strong, all of that. But both of them have a very uncanny ability to be someone that you relate to. I can relate to them. When I hear them speak, I know that they're one of us. Like, I know that they're not. Don't you guys agree? They haven't lost touch of the world. They're still connected to the world and what's happening in the world, with the younger people and older people, with the richer people and not so rich people. They have the ability to still connect and be real and make us feel proud to be American. This is
So
Nicki
why
Minaj.
now
For those of you who don't know her voice.
been involved with speaking about politics?
Why have you been
What was
involved?
kind of the
This is the
turning
question.
point for you?
The turning point.
What was the turning point? Well, I just got tired of being pushed around. Yeah. Sometimes you just get tired of it, and then you realize, wait a minute, I have something inside of me that's stronger than what's out there. That's right. So when you've had enough, you realize, wait a minute, why do I even care about these people and what they think? Who are they? They don't even know who they are. So I'm not gonna back down anymore. I'm not gonna back down ever again.
Almost done, guys.
Can the students in the room raise your hand? Wow. This question is for you guys. So you guys are very courageous.
Please hit like, guys.
And bold on your campus. Nikki, I know our students feel this way, but why do you think speaking your mind has become so controversial?
Because people no longer are using their minds, their brains. So right now, just imagine we're not allowed to have a different opinion anymore. We're not allowed to think out loud anymore.
Wow.
We're not this is not what the world used to feel like. And especially for the young people, I don't want them growing up in a world where they feel like that. They deserve for their voices to be heard. They have valid feelings and they're thinking about things, and it deserves attention.
Okay. 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 You can see the rest of it on YouTube. But I wanted to play enough of it so that you guys could have some form of context. Again, the reason I played the conversation between Angela Stanton King on She Speaks, well, not the between, but the conversation with Angela Stanton King on She Speaks Live and the exchange between her and Christine is because there is a similar tone in Angela's reasoning for why she supports the administration and in Nikki's reasoning for why she supports the administration. Hi, Victoria, I see you. And there are people that I know who also support the administration. And I don't understand how a Black woman in particular could do that way based on so many of the things that have been done as it relates to DEI and hundreds of thousands of Black women losing their jobs. And when you think about the healthcare system and how the lack of having affordable healthcare disproportionately affects Black women, Black communities, Black people, when you think about the infant mortality rate, when you think about all these things, poverty, essay, domestic, when you think about all this stuff, right? When you see videos of families being torn apart and literally being ripped out of each other's grip, out of each other's hands, and you hear about all the things that are happening in the name of, money and wealth and the economy. And it really makes you wonder, is it possible for us to get back to a place where humanity comes first and the needs of the people less fortunate I don't get this whole concept of celebrities from the Black community. Now, let me say this. I'm trying to tread lightly and make sure that I choose my words wisely, because I know how easy it is for people to just take a clip or, something out of context and run with it. But the most powerful tool that we have right now at our disposal as a community is our ability to communicate in the media, in social media, in the press, church, work, whatever, right? That's how community is created. That's how movements are created. And we don't have any ownership of that space. So we really don't have any control over the narrative and how it gets out. And that is it never really seems to be taken into consideration by these super high profile, whether it's Kanye, whether it is, Nicki, it doesn't really seem to be taken into consideration that, yes, while on its face, if you say Black Lives Matter, then white people should be able to say White Lives Matter. On its face, saying that white people don't have to be ashamed to be white anymore doesn't sound like such a terrible thing, right? And it isn't. When you just listen to the words, right? And you listen to the concept of the theory. But as a Black person who comes from communities where we are underserved and kids don't have lunch and there's crack and there is destruction and there's lack of home ownership and there's lack of opportunity for funding, and everybody who tries to fund and support Black women are attacked, because then all of a sudden they're being they're segregating or racial profiling, because of DEI or because of a fund that helps people where there is very little opportunity. When Black women are the most founded and the least funded, how else are we supposed to provide for our families when we carry a lot of times our families on our backs and on our shoulders? How do you think that it is okay to just end somebody's employment based on the fact that no, well, everyone should have, well, if the playing field should be level, and if you are a Black celebrity or a Black influencer or somebody with some level of power, and you want to see equality and you want to see fairness and you want to see good things happening in the world for your people, because we are your people too, then let's talk about leveling the playing field from the beginning. There's already a head start. They are years ahead of us in every way, financially, in terms of building wealth, in terms of their children being educated. And it's crazy to me that people who come from our communities can't see that, yes, you can support whatever presidential candidate you want to support, right? I'm not suggesting, and all of the vitriol and the anger and the name calling and shit like that, we're going to get into that a little bit, because that's a part of this 9 pages that I wrote, right? But where and how do you think about the 300,000, 400,000 women who didn't deserve to lose their jobs and lose their opportunities, who lost them? How powerful would it have been for Nicki? And again, I don't know why she did it. Now something that did stand out. Let me go to this real quick. Hold on. We gonna move around like your girl does. We're gonna move around like I do. Please hit like as you come in, please and thank you. She said she was tired of being pushed. Right? I don't know what that means because I wasn't there. Right? And I try not to talk too much about shit that I'm not fully aware of. Right? But it sounds to me like, and then I compared it to kind of some things that Angie said and has said before. I know what it feels like to be in a cage. I know what it feels like to be ignored. Right? So when you start talking about people who feel like they have been mistreated by I guess you feel like you've been mistreated by a whole political party, because that's the other thing that's confusing to me. The fact that it's Democrats and Republicans, left and right, and people are feeling abandoned by a party. So then they go and they join another party. We're just talking this through, right? I'm not, bad mouthing anybody, because I don't think we have to do that to make a point. We're going to try to do this the grown people way without like dogging people out and calling people names. So maybe with Nicci saying I was tired of being pushed, and Angela saying, listen, I know what it feels like to be in a cage. This is the only person who, passed a bill, some legislation that actually helped, people who were incarcerated. And then I've heard people make the argument that the hood has been the hood forever, right? The hood didn't just become the hood when the Republicans got into office, right? That is the argument people are making. Like Democrats had the opportunity to do X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, and they didn't do it. Now, this is the other thing I want to say real quick. Please aside from please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Here's the other shit I want to say. I did say I was not going to talk about politics anymore. I did. And I said it because I just didn't feel like I had the bandwidth to just get in the mud with this. I'm going to read my op-ed. Y'all going to be the first. I'm going to print it on my Substack. It will be on my Substack tonight, but I'm going to read it to y'all tonight before I print it. So y'all be like, bitch, don't print that shit. No, I'm going to print it anyway. Y'all know my ass. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But I just feel like people feel like they have been abandoned. And people feel like she said, I was pushed into this. I was tired. Or I'm sorry, she said she didn't say that. Retract, redact. She said, I was tired of being pushed. And the other thing that she said, and I've heard other people say, is they are relatable. Sound like she was saying, they are in touch with what Americans want and what Americans need. I think the quality of like keeping it real, so we think because somebody talks a certain way and uses a certain language and calls somebody out that they're keeping it real. I don't believe that that's keeping it real. I think that is keeping it reactive. And there's a difference in keeping something real and keeping something reactive. But you got to be grown and emotionally intelligent, real emotionally intelligent to know the difference of that. To know the difference between the two. But again, when you think about media and propaganda and the way it helps shape the expectations and the fact that it's like, we got to listen to the young kids. We got to listen to the youth. Let's listen to the youth. Those are like key words, y'all. Those are key words, because if we really think about what's going on with our kids, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, it's always been the youth. And I just, it's part of what's in these 9 pages I wrote. The influence, the young, impressionable minds. The Nicci said, not this Nicci Minaj. She's supporting the administration, and she's tired of being pushed, and she's tired of her voice not being heard. So we are too, right? And if I understand the turning point thing correctly, I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's an organization where I watched a couple of clips here and there. It was the organization that I believe that Charlie Kirk founded, and I'm kind of not really in the loop of all of that, but there's some stuff going on between Candace Owens and his wife, and there's this, conspiracy stuff, or I don't know. But my point is just, what's interesting is that they have all of these kids and all of these colleges, and they're all signing up to become a part of Turning Point USA, in this like group of people who want America to look a certain way. I don't know how they want it to look, because guess what? I haven't read their bylaws. I ain't been to none of their meetings. I ain't talked to none of them. I have no idea. I'm not just going to assume that because somebody says, oh, they're the such and such, they're the worst, they're terrible people, that's what it is, because I don't know them. I haven't taken the time out to do any of the research. And the truth of the fact of the matter for me is that I learned a lot over the past 5 years. I learned a lot. One of the biggest lessons that I learned is whether somebody is a Democrat or a Republican, if a judge doesn't want you to go forward in the trial and doesn't feel like you deserve to, you won't be going. And I had 3 people appointed by President Biden on the appeals court. And nobody felt like my case was worth going anywhere. So the concept of the idea that voting for a particular party or because a particular president does this or that it is going to always work in the best interest of the people is kind of borderline delusional. At least in my opinion. Because again, I had assumed that because, and I had a black woman judge on my appeal. And they said, nope, you do not go to trial. You do not have an opportunity to go forward. It wasn't Lionsgate didn't make the decision not to allow me to go to trial. The judges that were appointed by Joe Biden did. But that didn't make me angry towards Democrats. And that didn't make me lean deeper or farther into the Republicans. What it made me realize is that it is about individuals' character. It has nothing to do with, in my opinion, just for me, race or political affiliation or religion or any of that. And I'm gonna share this with you guys now because I had a little incident. Not a little incident. I had a situation that actually was really positive. I'm gonna read my 9 pages. I'm gonna read my op-ed. I'm about to read. Y'all, I'm about to take y'all back down memory lane. I stumbled on this photograph. It kind of made me laugh. It took me way back down memory lane. I see the happiness. I see the pain. Where am I? Back down memory lane. I see you standing there. This one y'all supposed to give me hearts and likes. Even if you don't like the shit, give me some hearts and likes. Such a happy pair. Love beyond compare. Look at there. Look at there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, y'all ain't giving me enough hearts. Whatever. I'm about to be serious. I'm about to get back into serious, Nicci. Because I thought y'all was going to give me some hearts and y'all ain't give me no hearts. Y'all give me enough hearts. Y'all give me enough likes. Enough people come up in here. I might give y'all a Luther. Y'all might get a little Luther tonight if y'all play and act like you got some sense. But let's be serious. Let's talk about this Nicki Minaj thing. So I know that all over. Thank you. I see him. Oh, thank you, TikTok. Let's see what Instagram doing. Instagram down there playing. There's 3 people on here. It's one. It's literally one. It is literally one individual. Okay, now it's 2. I'm like, what is going on with this Instagram shit? But I'm going to read my op-ed anyway, because guess what? LinkedIn is here. Whoop, whoop. Matter of fact, let me do this little roll call and give the people who are in the building some love while these folks go and call their friends and tell them I'm over here doing my thing. And Instagram is and that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? All these liberals, damn it, these liberals. No, I'm just like, I'm joking, you guys. But let's give a big round of applause for the people who are here hanging out with us from X. Let's give a round of applause for the people who are watching us on TikTok. Let's give another round of applause for the people who are watching us on LinkedIn. And finally, let's give a round of applause for all of those people watching us. WIRF.TV YouTube. Okay, Instagram. I'm going to give y'all a round of applause too, because I see DJ Katia and I see Brown somebody and I see somebody else. I see you. Okay, I see y'all. I see y'all coming up and through there. Take me through there. Take me through there. How about that? Yeah, come on in here. Come on in here, y'all. I'm about to read this op-ed, this live reading of this op-ed. And I'm going to read it from here because I can see it a little better and it'll be a little complicated for me to do my pages. But you guys, I'm a writer. I'm not being shady. I'm just saying. I'm a writer. And what I love is I've always, just a little tidbit before I get into this op-ed. and my thoughts, which is all it is, right? I'm calling it an op-ed, but it's just some thoughts and just something for us to ponder and something for us to think about, okay? I handwrite, write it down, the vision, write it down, make it plain. I handwrite. And then I have an app that allows me to take a picture of my handwriting and turn it into text. So, oh, hold on. I had to play y'all something else real quick before I go into my op-ed. Y'all gotta hear this. You gotta hear this. Did you listen to our vice president's conversation? Oh yeah, he got it. He got up there and he spoke too. All of them got up there and spoke, man. And it was okay. I don't have to play. I want to play it. But basically, long story short, JD Vance got up there. Vice President JD Vance got up and spoke at AmFest, and which AmFest, for those of you who are just coming in here, is something that I think the Turning Point USA people put on. And Turning Point USA is Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk and all those people over there who are building their like Christian thing. Christian, I don't know if is it a school. I don't know if it's a school or if it's like a community or like whatever. But let me say this. Them folks were cheering very, very loudly and very, very proudly for everybody who came out on that stage. So they have support. And I know we got the Essence Festival. And I know we got, what else? We got Invest Fest. And we've got like all of these amazing festivals where there's music and there's finance and all this other stuff. But we have got to start building together. And that is what my op-ed is all about. It is titled Build. No, I'm sorry. That's not the title. Let me do this shit again and make it real serious. It is time to build, not burn. We have become a nation that defines people by color instead of character. I'm trying to give everybody some screen time. We have become a nation that defines people by color instead of character, and by political labels instead of a shared humanity. We've become a little desensitized, and we have given enormous power to the words used to describe our skin, our beliefs, our affiliations, while we are steadily ignoring the values that once made disagreement possible without destruction. Somewhere along the way, we accepted a dangerous idea. If you don't look like me, don't pray like me, don't vote like me, or don't live like me, then your perspective doesn't matter. Worse, we've normalized treating ideological differences as moral failures. And in that framework, respect becomes conditional, empathy becomes optional, and name calling becomes currency. Let's be clear. Name calling in politics is unnecessary and it is corrosive. But it is also bipartisan. Yeah. Many of the same people who condemn it and others excuse it when it serves their side. If what's good for the goose is good for the gander, then accountability cannot be selective. Here's where I tell my story. Recently, I had a small but revealing experience. An older white man held the door open for me. I was pleasantly surprised and then troubled by my own response and my own reaction, right? Because why should a simple courtesy surprise me? And I'm going to tell y'all why it surprised me. It surprised me because he just didn't look like, you know how you just have people kind of summed up based on appearances? It didn't, I was like, oh shit, he held the door for me. I thought he was just going to let the shit swing, that's all, whatever. But the honest answer is that I've been conditioned for years to believe narratives that I see in the media. But none of those narratives, I've had a few little incidents like this lady. I got to tell you about the lady who, when I was walking in Brookhaven, she was riding past on a bike and she said, "Watch your ass, Negro." Listen, Linda. So I've had, even in when I was younger, growing up, I wrote a poem called "Strolling in the Wrong Direction" in Dearborn, Michigan, which is a very segregated place. This is not part of the op-ed. I've just kind of went off into another story. So let me get back to the op-ed and then I'll share the other stories. Years of media narratives, cultural messaging, and political polarization has trained many of us to expect hostility where none exists. And honestly, y'all, I have to say, in my real life, white people are polite to me and I'm polite to white people. And Asian people are polite to me and I'm polite to Asian people, and so on and so on and so on, right? I do know that racism exists. I do know that police brutality exists. I do know that a lot of horrible things do exist in the world, but I also know that things are amplified based on an agenda, and most of the times it's political. As he walked to his car, I noticed that now this is where it gets really interesting. Now, mind you, I'm coming out of the stove. I'm like, this man gonna just let the door swing and hit me in the nose, and I'm gonna fall out on the floor bleeding and shit. No, held the door for me. But what's crazy is I noticed a Confederate and an NRA sticker, right? Everything I've been told, everything I'd seen, everything I heard suggested that this interaction should have been tense, unpleasant. Instead, it was kind, respectful, and human. The moment didn't erase history, and it did not erase injustice, but it did challenge a story I had been unconsciously accepting without questioning. You see a man with a Confederate flag and an NRA thing in there. And listen, don't get it twisted. Because while I don't believe in gun violence and don't support it, I also believe in protecting myself, and I'm good at doing it. And I think everybody should have the right to do so. My grandfather slept with a rifle rack above his bed and had them all over the house. Never harmed a person, never went to a school, that's relative. That's a different conversation, but not with the weapons, right? History matters, context matters, but so does discernment. Like any story we've often been told, some of it contains truth. Some of it contains a little bit of omission of the truth. Some of it has a little bit of persuasion blended into it. But when we stop interrogating narratives and we start reacting to them, what we're doing is we're responding and surrendering to our agency. The selective outrage shows up in other uncomfortable places. Our silence towards powerful corporations, the industries that profit from portraying our communities in the most destructive light. We direct endless anger at political opponents while offering little resistance to the companies that have generated billions of dollars from music, from film, from TV, from digital content. And these companies normalize violence, instability, and despair. We speak about dangerous lifestyles, yet we rarely confront how profitable those images have been for people far removed from those consequences. Entire generations consume the content daily, often without parallel investment in character development, mental health, or spiritual grounding. Power without responsibility doesn't liberate us. It destabilizes us. Today, artists, public figures can reach hundreds of millions of people instantly, like Nicki Minaj. That influence can inspire or mislead. It can heal or divide. Without mentorship, ownership, and accountability, cultural power becomes volatile. The issue isn't expression, it's infrastructure. Our communities invest heavily in leadership, pipelines, media ownership, policy training, and long-term strategy. We too often settle for moments instead of systems and blueprints. Blame doesn't build community, proactivity does. Our community is extraordinarily gifted and resilient, yet too often we see ourselves through the lenses owned by other people. True empowerment requires ownership of media, of narratives, of resources, of influence. And without ownership, it's not possible for us to have control over the narratives that have destroyed our communities for years. Ownership is what sustains us, you guys. Fear is real. Racism is real. Profiling is real. I'm almost finished. But so is progress. We have more access. We have more wealth, more opportunity than any previous generation that came before us. I've been in rooms with individuals whose assets reach tens of billions of dollars. Proximity does matter because it reminds us that throwing stones at giants is not a strategy. Building systems that allow us to stand face to face with giants is. Two principles are essential if we're serious about the future. First, we must be more proactive than reactive. I've said that for so many years. And not in a way of preaching, hopefully informing. No matter how offensive a moment may feel, we have to be more proactive than reactive. Second, we have to stay out of our personal feelings when we are building something that goes beyond our personal feelings. Feelings do not fund schools. Feelings do not fund media companies. Feelings do not fund healthcare. Feelings do not fund politics. Well, I mean, maybe. But the reality is having tools does. And tools cost money. And ain't no money in your feelings. The most powerful tool in the modern world is the media, but media without ownership leaves communities influential and vulnerable at the same time. Ownership is the bridge between visibility and security. The question before us is not who offended who or which celebrity supports which political figure. The real question is what are we building and whether it will protect our legacies and provide generational wealth and wellness for our families. Tragedy rarely takes a day off in our community. The list of gifted souls that we have lost continues to grow. And we honor them not by tearing each other down, but by building something worthy of their lives. It's time to stop living in reaction mode. It's time to stop fighting yesterday's battles. And it's time to build a future strong enough to sustain us all. And when I did the list, I'm just going to name a few. Hold on. Because the list pissed me off really, really badly. Hold on. Okay, I'm not going to name them all. But the list of heroes and creatives and amazing people that we have lost in our community is heartbreaking. And I think that as a community, we spend a lot of time being angry about what's going on in politics, and rightfully so. But anger without proactive planning and building and follow up is just a rant, And I started to get, and the reason I wrote this is because when I watched our vice president's speech and I heard him say something about, I heard him make a comment about Jasmine Crockett's nails and and something about it being fake. And it just pissed me off. But then I was like, well, I guess that's what they all do now. Like, because I'm still, honey, bad built body, something, whatever it is, lives rent free in my head, right? And I am a huge supporter of Jasmine Crockett. And I'm so grateful that I know that our sister Jasmine Crockett has skin way tougher, and that insult won't penetrate her at all. It was a little surprising, to see it and to hear it. Again, I just could never see. I don't know. We're in a different day and time. I guess now presidents are going to just hurl the insults. It doesn't matter because that's what everybody's doing. And if that is a strategy because the youth respond and react to that more, it's a sad day in America. It really is. Because what we're telling our kids is that, you won't get in trouble for being mean. You're not going to get in trouble for calling somebody a fat slob. And you're not going to get in trouble for calling, talking about somebody's sexuality and like all the terrible things that we do. No. You might get elected president. And I don't know what that means. And honestly, I don't know if it's too late to put the genie back into the bottle. But I do know that a through line seems to be authenticity, or what people believe is authenticity, and that resonating. And it resonating because people are tired of the bullshit from both sides. And there's been bullshit on both sides. There's been infighting on both sides. I do not know why Nicki Minaj feels the way she feels. She said because she got tired of being pushed. I don't know what that means, but clearly it means something powerful enough to have a woman with almost 300 million followers in social media. 300 million combined. That is a lot of power. How is it that we as a community, and it's a question, and it might piss some people off, and maybe but you don't understand. This can't happen. And I agree with you. It's pretty fucking terrible because it feels like you lost one of your own, But why are we losing that kind of power? Why isn't a person with that kind of following more educated on why it's so important for her to support her community in this situation? And maybe she believes that that's what she's doing. I mean, the bottom line is we don't know the facts on why she decided to do what she did by showing up and supporting, this administration and Turning Point. We don't know. We don't know the facts around that, but this is a fact. She has a right to support whoever she wants. And we have a responsibility, not we, because I'm not in politics, but our politicians, our people who are proving to us that they have our best interest in mind, and voting for them and supporting them is really going to change our lives for the better, have to really put some extra grease on that. Because I know a lot of young people who have either checked out of the political process or who feel that what they're seeing on the other side, because it's real, and they be saying what they got to say, and society has just become a place where you could be loud and wrong as long as it's loud. And what's dangerous is now people who weren't paying attention to the political stuff are now suddenly more interested because Nicki Minaj has pledged her allegiance to the Republican Party. And we have to stop being so reactive and having selective outrage and no follow through. And we have to figure out how to get our community to understand how important it is for us to stick together, get out and vote, and support candidates. And I get it. I'm a 55-year-old woman about to be 56. And I have been so displeased, like you guys, I've been so disappointed by this system. So let down by this system. I won't betray them the way they betrayed me, because I still believe that we need each other, and we really got a lot of work to do now that we have Kanye West and Nicki Minaj and other people. I mean, what is that combined? Like, I don't know, but I feel like Kanye West and Nicki Minaj combined reach is probably 500 million, maybe, or more people. So it tells me that there's power in artists and creatives, which is what I've been saying for years. It's unchecked, which becomes dangerous. But we have to really think about what we're building and who benefits from it. And we have to really think about whether or not tearing each other down. And, it's interesting because just like in the title, outrage is not policy reform. Accountability, can't be bipartisan, or I'm sorry, be partisan, forgive me. And anger is not a strategy. It just isn't. Right? It's easy to react to something. It is harder to build. And I just hope that as a community, we really unpack why this is happening. And we don't spend weeks and months canceling and, for clicks and views, figure out who could read Nicki Minaj the most and the best and the hardest. But really ask ourselves, why did this sister decide, like so many others have been, to go over there and support an administration that, based on everything I see, they care about money. And when politics replaces humanity, I just think everybody loses. I do. It's crazy because when you think about the fact that disagreements are now becoming declarations of war, it's crazy to me because people can't even have healthy debates. We have become a nation addicted to outrage. How can a nation addicted to outrage build a future that includes everybody? Maybe because all they're interested in is capitalism and building wealth. And if you are not in a space of building wealth and participating in this economic prosperity that they're creating for themselves, maybe you don't matter as much. So maybe as a community, we need to be thinking about how we can come together and build and not burn. Because one thing I can tell you for sure is that the media made us very loud, very visible, very present, very loud, very visible, but not free. And that's scary. Very scary. So my op-ed is, it's time to build, not burn. Trying to remind our community that anger is not a strategy. And I'm sure that there are people who are going to be like, girl, you just don't get it. No, I get it. And I believe that everybody's entitled to their opinion. And I believe that you can't force people because of the color of their skin to ride with you. You have to convince them. And based on what I saw tonight in them clips, hearing the cheers, seeing how it's taken over the media, some people are becoming convinced. And now probably even more so now that Nicki Minaj has, pledged her allegiance. And I have no issues with Nicki. I'm not calling her no names. I think she's a talented artist and creative. I'm disappointed that, she felt like she was tired of being pushed. So she decided, I'm going to come over here. But let's unpack that. What makes a person with hundreds of millions of followers in social media, both her and Kanye, what makes them so tired of whatever they're tired of that they go over to the other side and be like, that's an L, guys. I mean, we got Beyonce, that's big, and a lot of other amazing people. But with what we're building and what we need as a community in order to really have a fighting chance in the next election, we have to build a strategy. And the strategy is not anger. Period. And I will say this, though. It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. You better make sure you have a conversation with your kids. Because I heard a lot of references to the youth and to the students and to the colleges and to the future people during these turning point events. They have infrastructure. They got a plan. It's so funny. I think about Maxine Waters when she said, they up there in them hills. If y'all seen that, and I'm like, she probably ain't even lying. Y'all seen them video, them clips of folks jumping out of the back of U-Haul trucks. And if you hadn't, you need to become aware. I was talking to one of my young relatives and I was like, did you see Nicki? What? No, I didn't see it. And they're not, some of them aren't interested, but then we don't read the story. We read the headlines. We don't listen to the full conversation. We listen to the clip and we formulate an opinion, and it makes us angry and it pushes us back hundreds of years. Listen, y'all, I hope that my perspective on this doesn't piss people off, but I don't care because it's my perspective. I own it. And I'm all about ownership in this chapter of my life. And my perspective is that you don't have to be hurtful and mean and hostile and angry and cussing folks out and memeing them to pieces and she ain't shit and he ain't shit and I hope his whole world falls apart and damning people to hell and declaring war on people because of a difference of opinion. Instead, maybe this is an opportunity for us to listen to both what is being said and what is not being said and figure out if we can create a situation where we're a country that values character over color and building over blame. What we lose when we choose outrage over strategy is the opportunity to build generational wellness and wealth for our youth. And all I heard Turning Point talk about during this festival was the youth and the future and how they're getting I don't know what they say, 5,000 people a day. It's some ridiculous number. They've got millions of young people to sign up and become a member of Turning Point. They're recruiting people to become members of ICE. They're recruiting people to become, and we are dancing in the videos and creating routines and arguing with each other about trivial shit and fighting with each other, and they're building. And those are just facts. If this Amfest thing should teach us anything, it is that Building in a proactive way is far more beneficial to our future than reacting to name calling, than reacting to propaganda. Because trust me, everybody has a little persuasion and omission in their story. I don't believe everything anybody says. You see, now actions speak louder. See, that was a perfect cue. Baby, listen, this is my message to the Black community. Say it, do it, short. Say it, do it, show it, and prove it. We have more resources available to us than our ancestors ever did. They died for our freedom, our rights, and we have a responsibility to step up and stop complaining. You know how we always say, I'm about to wrap. Where are we at right now? Please hit like 122. So you know how we always say our kids are entitled, right? You know, they just like, what? Would you get your entitled ass? Like if you only, like, you know how our parents used to be like, I went to school, I had cardboard shoes and shit like that. We have so much available to us, so much opportunity. The fact that I can sit here and have a conversation with y'all and it reaches people all over the world, you know, people in our community, is something that our ancestors, oh my God, their wildest dreams, right? They had to like get on the bus after working 10, 12-hour shifts to meet at secret places, to plan, you know what I mean? And we are complaining more than we are doing. And it's just not healthy for us. And they're building, again, they're building. Reaction is easy. Building is hard. We're reacting and they're building. So we're taking the easy way out. And again, please understand, nothing I have said, we have to hold ourselves accountable. Yep. We have to hold ourselves accountable because we get what we want. We do what we want. We go where we want. But for some reason, when it's time for us to step up to the plate and do what we really need to be doing, because it's unpleasant, and like I said, building is hard, it's always somebody preventing you from doing it. You know, like, I'm just going to say it. We complain a lot. And yes, we have been victims in the past. Or I'm sorry, our ancestors were actually the victims. We have platforms to call out racism. We got a whole name for women who, you know, we can put you on the Karen list. We could, you know, we got a lot of resources available. And yes, we still have a very, very long way to go. But it's time for us to start making excuses. Excuses are mere monuments of nothingness, building bridges leading nowhere. People who follow such incompetent rules are masters of nothingness. And I refuse to be a master of nothingness. There is no excuse. Do the work. Like Christine Beatty said, Sarah, so she got to do the work. And we have to unify. Y'all ain't getting that Divine Nine commercial tonight because I'm tired. But you did get my op-ed, which will be on posted on Substack if you want to check it out. And without all the like little side stories that I incorporated into it. I really enjoy having these conversations with you guys every night. I hope that there is something in every conversation that we have that inspires, you know, some critical thinking and like, you know, just opportunity for us to really like be honest with ourselves and each other. We point the finger a lot. later for that. We just have to activate in a positive way. And as far as Nicki Minaj is concerned, we have to pray for her, just like we have to pray for our country. We have to respect that she has a right as an American citizen to support whatever political candidate she chooses. And even though many of us may not agree with her choices and decisions, the time that we spend circulating shit about Nicki Minaj, the same pictures, the same vlogs. Oh, did you hear what such and such said? Oh, did you see what such and such? That's time we could be spending building. That's time y'all could be reposting and telling people to come to divine9tv.com. Because here's the thing, nothing is stopping us from building our own but us. We have for years been wanting this country to like make room for us, right? Maybe we don't get room. Maybe we have to create a larger space within a smaller space. Maybe we got to figure out together how to organize the space so that it's more comfortable for us. Yeah, we should have this much room, but we have been consolidated to this. What can we do with this? When you hear the story about how our ancestors on the ships made food from scraps, when you hear the stories about how they were able to build houses with remnants and tin foil, and you think about all the things we have available to us, you should be ashamed of yourself for saying that you don't have enough. Because we have enough. We just have to lean into each other and embrace the fact that this country is moving on. And until we get to a place where we have the ball, we also have to move on. And we have to stop blaming other people and look deeply within ourselves and really seriously, as I said in my op-ed, consider the fact that when you think about what happened with Diddy, when you think about what happened with R. Kelly, when you think about what happened with Cosby, when you think about what happens in the media with these narratives, there is a lot of damage coming from a lot of places that are not the White House in DC. And I don't care who gets pissed off from me saying it. The images, the narratives, the music, the stories, all of that shit that they are selling to us and we are buying is creating more artists and creatives who become wealthy and have huge platforms. And when they get tired of the bullshit happening over here, they take the wealth that we have helped them build and their toys, and they go play over there where there's a white picket fence and they don't feel pushed around. You got to listen to what people be saying. She went over there because she felt pushed over here. Is it a good enough reason? It was for her. And this is America. She can support whoever the hell she wants to support. We just have to think about how we can prevent it from happening again. Because please believe that this is just the beginning. And when we see how many of our kids believe what she said, I bet they're going to get a whole lot. I bet they're probably going to get a whole lot of people registering for all the things that they encourage them to register for now that they've had Nicki Minaj on that stage. Yep. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'm sending you a 9-page letter, and I enclosed it with a kiss. Yeah, that's my little op-ed. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in to Nights with Nicci. Please hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. Our Cash App is fight number 4 worth. While those people at Turning Point have their AmFest, I don't know who, what, where, when, why, and how our leadership is going to figure something out for us, but yeah, we need to figure some shit out.